Plus One Forward, the podcast powered by the Apocalypse, where we talk about tabletop role-playing games using or inspired by the Apocalypse engine. I'm your MC, Rich, and I'm joined by my guest, Sarah Richardson of Magpie Games. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure to talk with you, Sarah. Now, I'm curious. You've got this game that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and then Bluebeard's Bride, so you're all up in some PbtA games. But how long have you been playing Powered by the Apocalypse games?
Actually, I sat down to figure that out, and counting this past Gen Con, I've been playing Powered by the Apocalypse for 5 Gen Cons.
5 Gen Cons? Which
is 4 years, but we just had a Gen Con, so it's 5 Gen Cons.
Gen Con's how you first discovered it? Was it Games on Demand, or how did you find it?
Actually, it was. We walked into Games on Demand, having never played a indie game before, saw something about the Apocalypse, and was like, I am so there. So yeah, that was my very first Apocalypse World experience.
Nice. Do you remember who the GM was, or the MC?
Actually, it was Kira McGran.
Oh, wow. Boy, talk about being spoiled right now. Everything pales in comparison. You played with the likes of Brendan, so you're like, oh man, if only Kira would just show up at every Gen Con.
It was a really good game. It was a great introduction to everything that the game could do. She made sure that we hit on everybody had a spotlight, and there was a lot of weirdness and violence and sex, and it was good.
It sounds like a Sarah game. That's cool. I have to ask you, do you remember what playbook you were?
I was a little shyer because I had not played with people in conventions very much at that point. So I played the medic.
The
angel.
Angel?
Yeah.
Nice. I love the angel. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Let's head on in and read a Sitch. Read a Sitch. Okay, Sarah, I want to have a conversation with you about making up NPCs on the fly. So non-player characters in Powered by the Apocalypse games, I love them because you're supposed to give them a name and make them feel human. But that's a lot more work. Like, how do you pull that off, Sarah?
Well, the first thing that normally happens is you're at the table, players are floundering around, and you need to give them information or give them someone to shoot at, right? So the first thing that I do is I will normally take one of the unused playbooks at the table and pull a name off that.
Oh.
Failing not having an unused playbook at the table, if I'm, for example, playing online, I stole this from Misha B. I will lean back and look over at my bookshelf that I can see from my chair, and I will pick 2 authors' names. So doing that, I have Kate Gold. So I have a name, but the most important thing is just what do they want from the characters?
Right.
Vincent talks about that a little bit in Apocalypse World, but perhaps a better way or a easier way of explaining that is it's really about what you, the GM, are trying to tell your players, to give them a hook as what you're supposed to be doing in this scene. So if I want you guys to get into a fight, that means that Kate Gold's motivation is going to be violence and provocation. She is going to come in strong. So your NPCs cannot be that subtle most of the time about what you want them to do. So I give them a name. I know what they want from the PCs, and then all the physical description is a combination of stuff that can bolster that. So this NPC, Kate, she might be very tall and imposing and very ripped. She might carry her weapons openly, but it's always good to throw in something a little more personalized.
Okay, like what?
I'm a visual artist, so I spend a lot of time sketching people on the street. And there is nothing better than looking at real people to see crazy shit that people do.
Oh.
So, for example, the last time I was out sketching, I saw this older lady who had the, helmet hair, and she was wearing a t-shirt and leggings. But what made me look at her was she was wearing these rainbow leg warmers. So if you take Kate, and she is all bristling aggression, but you give her those rainbow leg warmers, you start to wonder exactly what is going on here. Like, wait a minute. it gives them a little bit of personality, whether you find out they have a ferret tucked in their pocket that comes out and bites your nose while you're fighting, or their hair is all spiky mohawks, but they're wearing frilly, gauzy clothing. Like, these are all ways to just add a little bit of layer of meaning to your NPCs.
Right.
So a lot of that I do from people I see on the street, because the people in Chicago are colorful and wonderful to draw from.
Right.
Or even from people in the backgrounds of scenes in movies. Sometimes they can be a great resource.
Okay, good. So you're saying that to be better, we need to move to Chicago and go out of doors.
I think moving to Chicago is what Ken Hite wants everyone to do.
Okay.
But just paying attention to the quirks that normal people you see every day, what they do. Even notice some of the stuff that you do. So I probably noticed the older ladies' leg warmers because I own an extensive collection of knee-high socks with funny patterns on them.
Ah.
So look at your own self too, and your friends, and base your NPCs on some of those.
Very cool. All right. Any other notes for NPCs? Any last little bits for those NPCs on the fly to make them memorable?
Just a word of warning. Don't base them on the people at the table because they'll notice.
You got caught, huh?
I'm not going to say whether I got caught or not.
Oh, man, that's great. All right. Well, I've already mentioned that you've got games in the hopper, so I'd like to open my brain up to one of them. Let's talk about Velvet Glove. Open your brain. This past Gen Con that you've mentioned with great pride, I didn't go. Bummer. This past Gen Con, you've released the notebook edition of a game called Velvet Glove. What is this thing?
In Velvet Glove, you play a teenage girl in a gang in 1970s America. It normally takes place in kind of a middle-sized city with somewhat racially segregated neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
But the focus is on teenage girls doing drugs, committing crimes, having sex, and just seeing how that flows.
Wow. Okay. That is interesting. What are the mechanics? Like, how have you switched up the mechanics to try to reflect that?
Well, I did a couple of things. One of the first things that we should just get clear straight out of the gate is you have some different stats.
Okay.
So in this case, you have brains, heart, muscles, and pussy.
Okay.
Brains is, of course, how you think about stuff. Heart is how you feel. Muscles is whenever you, as a gang member, decide to put the smack down on someone. And pussy is about your sex appeal and how you use your body to interact with people. So this was important because in the game, as teenage girls start to realize how the world tells them they need to interact with sex and how they're learning how to be a sexual creature, one of the things that comes up whenever you're a 16 to 18-year-old girl
mm-hmm.
or younger is flirting to get your way.
Okay.
In Velvet Glove, you can use pussy both to convince someone to do what you want or to tell them to stop doing things you don't want.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
In addition to that, because they're teenagers and not adults, instead of tracking harm, we track angst to kind of show the emotional damage that can happen whenever you're subsumed in this very damaging environment. And then we also track the rep of you and your gang so we can see whether or not you have pulled off some stuff that makes you kind of famous among your neighborhood and whether people know, like the normal people know about your gang.
Nice. I like that scale of kind of that reputation. That's really neat. All right. What is your favorite move in Velvet Glove and why?
It's actually hard for me to decide which one, but I kind of have to go with tell a man to cool it. With this move, you roll plus your pussy, and on 10 plus, so a great success, he leaves you alone for now. And on a 7 to 9, you get a +1 against him, and he can still react to you. So I love this move because there's a lot of tension in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he might always come back. It might always get worse. but you can kind of delay what's going on for just right now so you can get your business done.
Wow, that is intimidating.
It shouldn't be. It's actually a very useful tool in the game.
But it's intimidating what it says, right? What it says about that world. Because you come from the apocalypse world milieu of you solve problems with violence, and they're usually solved for that individual. But this is, he's going to go away for now. That's interesting. Those two words really change the scope, but that's interesting.
Yes, I definitely didn't want to make a game where violence was the only answer, even though I think that violence interacting with teenage girls is really interesting because girls in gangs, you know, they kind of enter a different culture than most of us. And so violence is an option, which is, it's not normally an option for women. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to make sure that they had other ways of dealing with situations to de-escalate them or manipulate them in other ways. There are moves for violence, so you should anticipate quite a bit of violence in the game.
Yes, I should, right? I mean, you say gangs, that's kind of part and parcel of it. That's cool.
Well, each girl does have the option of a switchblade as part of her starting equipment, so...
Oh, nice. I like it. No ballet song? No butterfly knives? Just switchblades?
Well, I wrote switchblade, but you can always change that to the knife of your preference.
Okay, cool. Because there's just something about... Oh, okay, you got me all excited now. Let's go act under fire. I want to play. This game.
You don't want to talk anymore? You just want to go straight to the good?
I want to talk, but I want to talk like I'm pretending I'm someone else. So let's do that thing.
Okay, let's do that.
It is time to act under fire. We're going to do a quick scene or something or other of Velvet Glove. So, Sarah, what do I need to do? I'm going to be playing Placina. She has +1 in all of her stats.
Okay.
Even the one that makes me feel weird saying out loud.
I should explain that while I've been playtesting this and trying different ways, I've kind of come upon the idea that you should get used to saying the word pussy. You should embrace it because you're going to say it in this game. It's okay to say it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Placina. It is the 1970s. Disco is it, but if you prefer, you can listen to Black Sabbath. Now you are living in a middle-sized city, more St. Louis than Chicago.
All right.
And you have a couple of quick options for just to tell me what you look like, because this is important. Do you look like a girl, a woman, or do you look kind of in between?
I think in between, right? She's just started to blossom a little bit, is going through that middle phase of trying to figure out, and some friends haven't blossomed yet, but a lot of them are ahead. A lot of her friends are ahead of her.
That sounds about right. Now, your clothing, do you wear like disco, glam clothes? Do you wear something a little more subdued?
I think glam clothes. Because she had some more boring clothes, but she just didn't stand out, right? Nobody paid any attention to her. And now that she's, blossoming.
Yeah.
Got to get some attention, right?
Got to wear the belly shirts and the bell bottoms, maybe some platforms.
And she's got one of those big hats, like a cat hat kind of.
With stripes, of course.
Yes.
And what race are you?
I think that she's mixed race. So she's part Latina, but her dad was white. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Placina is part of a gang. You're called the Alley Cats. And there are other members of your gang, but for right now, we're just going to focus on you. Now, what is the primary crime that your gang does?
Oh, we knock over liquor stores.
Okay. So, your girls are waiting for you outside of Gino's Liquor.
Okay.
It is a hot summer night. You can hear the locusts making their little weird noises. You can feel the sweat rolling down your back. And the other girls have looked at you and said, "We need some malt liquor." It is that kind of night. We don't care. It's a school night. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's totally do this.
You're already buying in. Yay! You go into the store first. Your job is to distract the clerk while the other girls steal some liquor. You ready to do this?
I am so ready to do this. I've watched you guys do this. I've got it. I know all the moves. I've seen what Shelly does. I can pull that off. Totally.
Shelly nods and she gives you a high five. It's like, hell yeah, girl, you got this. So you come strolling in the liquor store. And to your right, it is multicolored candy bottles of liquor stretching out. And to your left is the checkout counter. And there is this guy standing behind it. He looks familiar. Does he go to your school?
Yeah, it's Timothy.
It is Timothy. He is one of the cool kids at school.
I know. Oh, God. Okay. Doesn't matter.
He's a little short. He's also Latino. And he wears these really, really tight pants. Like, you can see everything clear as day in these pants.
Yeah, I do.
But he is kicked back behind the counter, and he looks up and he's like, hey, girl, what are you doing in here?
Shake my hair a little bit. Hey, Timothy. How's it going? I didn't know you worked here. I kind of move up to the counter, try to take his line of sight, fill up the space a little bit.
Yeah, because he does keep trying to look at the door. But he's like, oh, I'm just kind of helping out my dad over the summer. I mean, I'm not supposed to be working here. I'm not technically old enough to sell alcohol, but, what are you doing here?
Oh, it's hot, and you guys got a fan. So I just come in here to cool off a little bit.
So it sounds like you set yourself up, especially for the move, use the goods.
Okay, let's do that thing.
Now, when you use the goods, you're going to tell me what you want from Timothy, and then you're going to roll plus pussy.
Okay, my pussy's +1. What I want is I want his eyes on me. I want him to fully pay attention to me. That's actually, I want it for a couple reasons, but that's what I want.
Interesting. So go ahead and roll 2d6 plus your pussy.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to load this up. I rolled a 6, but I have a +1, so that's a 7.
On a 7, he will do what you want if you give him a taste right now. You want his attention. So he kind of leans forward, and he reaches up and he grabs that fan, and he angles it just a little. So now you can feel it blowing down your cleavage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
actually have those now, so cool.
And he's just watching you.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn my head up, oh yeah, this feels good on my neck, and just pull my shoulders back just a little bit, and then okay, I'm gonna pull the front of my shirt down just a little bit. So if he needs a taste, if that's what he needs to get his attention, then that's what I'll do. And it does actually feel kind of nice, because you said that it was sweaty. I was really sweaty, so there you go.
He is occupied with aiming the fan directly on your breasts while he is staring at them. His attention is mainly caught by you. And you can hear the door ring, or the door move. Like your girls are reaching up and hitting the bell to make sure it doesn't ring out real loud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw Rosita. She did that once.
Mm-hmm. To give him a taste right now, you might have to go a little further to make sure he doesn't look up and notice that door.
Sweet. Wow. Okay. Thinking fast. I'll open my eyes up and I look right at him and I go, hey, Tim, are you seeing anyone right now?
Okay, that works. He is completely on you now. He does not know there is anything else in the universe. So you can hear the little pitter-patter of stealing feet.
Mm-hmm.
But Tim begins to have a conversation directed at your nipples.
great.
Because he's not looking at your face. And he's like, I was seeing this girl, Leslie, and like her dad was not cool with her dating someone who wasn't white. And we broke up, and man, that really tore me up. I don't think I can ever feel anything ever again. And he's just staring at you.
Oh.
And you hear the door swing shut behind the last girl.
That is so sad, Timothy. I can't believe that she treated you that way. That's horrible.
And he leans over the counter, and he slides his hand up your neck and behind on the back of your neck, and he starts pulling you towards him.
Yeah, and I'll snatch my head back away and go, hey, whoa, I need to go.
I believe you are telling a man to cool it.
Yeah, I think I am. Okay, here we go with my another +1. Whew, that is an 8. And 7 + 1, that's an 8.
All right. So when you tell a man to cool it, on a 7 to 9, you take +1 for it against him. Although he can choose to get in your face, come on even stronger, or escalate to violence.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
You wanted violence.
So, did I? Wait. Not for Placina. Okay, so yeah, she pulls her head away from that. Doesn't get sassy. She just says, hey, I need to go.
Fucking tease? What is this? Coming in here, strutting around with your nipples all out? I thought,
They're not...
Cock tease.
Wow.
And so he continues to yell abuse at you. You can stay here, and you can keep on trucking. You can get the skinny on him, or you can just walk out the door.
I got what I wanted. I'm going to walk out the door. He's going to get in plenty of trouble with his dad, and it doesn't matter what he says.
That's very true.
I just kind of flip my hair, and I turn, and I'm ignoring him, and I'm heading right for the door, and I make sure that the bell jingles. I'm going to get back to my girls, because I really don't want to stay here any longer.
Now you walk out into that hot summer night, and behind the liquor store, you find your girls. They are all sitting around, grouped near the, let's say, El Camino that you guys drive around.
Oh, yeah.
One of them stands up on the hood and is all, to Placina for keeping that fucker occupied. And they hand you a 40.
Sweet. Okay, and then I take a moment to because it's a twist cap and it hurts really, it cuts into your hand, right into your hand. But they can't see it. They can't see. One of them tried with their teeth one time, but
that's not a good idea.
You can still see the mark, and that's stupid. So I just kind of grit, and it pops open, and there's a little bit that kind of spills out because I shook it just a little, but I don't care. And I'm drinking it. I'm making sure I'm drinking it. Yeah.
And the leader of your gang, Harper, slaps you on the back and then says, all right, girls, let's get in our ride and let's go find something else to fuck up.
Yes.
And that's how we'll end our scene.
That is really amazing. That's great. That was awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That was great. You totally went with it, and I really appreciate that.
Why not? That's what we're here for, right? So, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on +1 Forward and sharing Velvet Glove with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for introducing me to Placina.
+1 Forward is a production of the Gauntlet community and Richard Rogers. You can find us on gauntlet-rpg.com or follow us on Twitter at GauntletRPG. The games mentioned on this show use the Apocalypse engine, which is a creation of Vincent and Magpie Baker. The music for +1 Forward is from the Savage Oral Hotbed CD Gomi Daiko. The songs used are Gomi Daiko Metal version and Process. You can find more amazing tunes by Savage Oral Hotbed on their website, savageoralhotbed.com.